Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Tittle Tattle Tarot. It's Georgie. And on the table today, I have some photographs. I have a photograph of the author Lewis Carroll and Alice Liddell. So one of my favorite books as a child, and even still today, is Alice in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass. What amazing books they were, written by this gentleman here. He was born Charles Lutwidge Dodgson, not easy to say that, in 1832. He was known as Lewis Carroll, his pen name, and I will call him Lewis Carroll during this reading. And little Alice Liddell, and I would just refer to her as Alice. So we have Lewis Carroll and Alice. This is a hard reading. I want to look at their relationship. This is a difficult one. He wrote the most amazing books, and I just want to look a little bit deeper at the man himself and see what the tarot will reveal about him. He was a mathematician, and a very cloistered life he had. He wasn't married. And I want to look at that cloistered life and the way that he was with Alice, and not only Alice, other children as well. He said that children were 3/4 of his life, and he spent much of his time conversing with children, writing to them. He would write to them in sort of their language, like he was a child, which of course he wasn't. And he would illustrate his letters. Just spent an extraordinary amount of time with children, and seemed to be very emotionally involved with them. So I just want to know, what were his motives? Were they pure? Was he just a very pure soul who liked the company of children, or was there more to it than this? It's a difficult topic, but let's just see what the cards come up with. I shall ask some direct questions and see what happens. While he was writing Alice in Wonderland, he asked for a lock. Ooh. He asked for a lock of Alice's hair. Sorry, all my cards flipped. What have we got going on here? Yes, he asked for a lock of Alice's hair. Now, that's a strange thing. In our day and age, we think that's strange. We could say to, well, is that like a love token? Why would a grown man want a lock of a child's hair, a child that isn't his child? So, was this just purely a little keepsake of a child that he had written about and created this whole story about, or was there something more to this? So I would like to know about this lock of Alice's hair, this lock of Alice's hair that he asked for and that he got. Oh, the cards are flipping over. They obviously want to talk, so let's just see what they have to say. So, cards, can you tell me about Lewis Carroll asking for a lock of Alice's hair? Was this just an innocent request for a lock of hair as a memento from this child having, written this wonderful book? Was it a lock of memento hair from the muse, basically? Page of Cups is a love card. Queen of Cups. There's a lot of emotion here. I think that he probably asked for this hair from Alice's mother. And Page of Cups, yes, it was granted. Very much sort of a love thing. Now, is this just a very tender sort of something to remind him of Alice at that time, but very much emotions here, emotions of the heart. Page of Cups, there's the youth energy, and I would imagine, or the very young child energy of the page. And I would imagine the Queen of Cups is Alice Liddell's mother, just snipping some curls from her head. and then them being presented to Lewis Carroll. So he took many photographs of Alice. And I just want to know about the photography, please. Taking photographs of Alice and other children. Photographs, please. Okay. This is slightly darker than the lock of hair. The lock of hair could be seen as a keepsake, you know, little memento. Photographs. Seven of Pentacles is the working card, you know, toiling away, working, writing a book, perhaps writing his book. It is in reverse. So let's just put these two reversals up the right way. And then the one that is the right way up, we'll just leave over there for a moment. So Seven of Pentacles, yes, you know, oh God, I've worked so hard at this book. It's been, you know, blood, sweat and tears over this book. It's been probably taken up a lot of his time. He's invested a lot of energy into this book. And his motives, I think, of writing this book, his motives, was this purely just a book about something he conjured up from his imagination? Well, yes, it was. But why was it? Was this like his inner fantasies? Was this book bait? What was it? Was this like the little fish on the line to hook in, I don't know what, to hook in children? To be surrounded by children, because he very much liked to have children around him. He was like a Pied Piper character. So what were the motivations of this book? And that's the way I see this one upside down. Perhaps the motivation wasn't just creating this wonderful fantasy land. Perhaps there were darker motivations behind this book. And then we have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is a passionate message. Wands are fairly sexual cards and passion and desire. But we have that in reverse. So the photography, this was another hobby of his. He wrote these books, a very, very talented writer, but he had a great photography habit and hobby, and he would take photographs of children. And sometimes the children were in a state of undress in different degrees. I must point out that in the Victorian era, to have photos of children half dressed or not dressed, you know, young children, was not, in their eyes, in any way wrong. Looking back from our point of view, we look at it and we think, no, that's not right. But it was a different time. But I think his motives for taking the photographs, for writing the books, were not 100% pure. I think that he had in his mind and deep in his soul, he had something about him that was being satisfied by writing books that attracted young people, young children, and by taking photographs of young children. It was not the purest motivation at all in his work. And the Page of Wands in reverse, the wands, the passion, not again sexual energy, bad sexual energy. That is the way I'm reading that. So it wasn't done with good intentions. He wasn't just a photographer who was taking pictures. There was something deeper driving this man, unfortunately. And the Eight of Pentacles, yeah, well, this is the work card. This is industrious. I mean, he was a mathematician. He was doing these wonderful books. He was taking photography, you know, he was always working. He was always involved in something. So this was his work, but was it of the purest was it of the purest sort of driven work, and was it the purest message? No, I don't think that it was. I think he had ulterior motives. Okay. So before Alice in Wonderland was actually published, there had been a rift between Lewis Carroll and Alice Liddell's family. Alice Liddell's father was a don at the university, and so he worked with Alice Liddell's father, Lewis Carroll and Alice Liddell's father. They were sort of working, in the same kind of department, if you like, or what have you. Lewis Carroll as this mathematics don, and Alice Liddell's father as also a don. So there was some kind of rift within the family, and it meant that Lewis Carroll wasn't welcome in their home. And I just want to see if I can pull anything about why Lewis Carroll wasn't welcome at the Liddell's home. Why wasn't Lewis Carroll welcome at the Liddell's home? Judgment in reverse. He made a bad judgment about something. Now, I don't know what that was. Judgment the right way up. Yes, he made wise decisions. He made good choices. Everything that he did was pure of deed. It was honorable. Good judgment. Archangel Gabriel would have looked at that and thought this is all pure and innocent and, good meaning. Well, no. Whatever happened was bad judgment. So something happened between Lewis Carroll and the Liddells that was a bad judgment. Lewis Carroll actually, he took a photograph, another photograph of Alice's older sister. Now we're talking about a girl who is about 13, and that is around about the age in those days of sexual consult, sexual, what would you call it? Acceptance, what would you call it? You know what I mean? That anyway, it was that sort of age that she was, open to, have relationships, if you like, at that very young age. So he's taken a photograph of her topless. And that is a very disturbing photograph. And it's been proved that it is Alice's sister, Lorena, and that it was taken by Lewis Carroll. So was this photograph anything to do with this bad judgment? Two of Pentacles. Yeah, I think it was. The parents have seen this photograph. I just think all in general, it was just too much. They're trying to juggle the fact that these two men work together. Alice's father and Lewis Carroll, they work together. They're trying to juggle the fact that, this book has been written, and it's all, wonderful book. And Lewis Carroll is a very talented man. He's taken photographs of Alice, asked for a lock of hair. There's friendship there. But then this happens. And I think he pushes his luck too far, and the Liddells just decide, no, this isn't good anymore. This is not what we want. We don't want this person involved in our lives with our daughters. Can you just give me a little bit more on this separation between Lewis Carroll and the Liddells? Because he kept a diary throughout his life, but in that sort of 1863 era, when this separation sort of happened, all the pages of Lewis Carroll's diary cropped out. Seven of Wands, yeah. Low boundaries here. I think he stepped over the line. Seven of Wands, this is someone saying, no, you've taken things too far. You've taken a liberty, this is too much. No, you're not doing that. And I think that Lewis Carroll stepped over the boundary with this family in whatever he did. And back then in Victorian England, as I say, it wasn't frowned upon having pictures of naked children. But we're getting to the stage with this older daughter that, you know, she's not a cherub. She's not a little naked cherub like the Victorians would have seen it. This is a woman. This is a woman now, basically, in Victorian terms, and a topless woman. And so I think that he has overstepped the boundaries with this. So, you know, there are dozens of photographs that he's taken. He was an avid photographer, and he collected children, basically. He collected, that sounds bad. Well, it is bad. But he would be the kind of character that children were drawn to him. He wrote to them. Just tell me, Cards, just more about this, just more about his motives. I think you've been pretty clear, Cards, but just this motive around children. Tower. I went into this spread, and what I hoped would happen would be something along the lines of, we're judging this man with our 2023 morals. You know, this was Victorian times. It was a very different world, you know, but basically a man who is attracted to inappropriately young children, as he was. I mean, you got to remember, as I said, the age of consent, that was what I was looking for earlier. The age of consent was very young. I think it was as young as 12, to be honest with you. I could be wrong there, but we're talking about sort of the mid 1800s, and I think it was as young as 12. But, you know, even then he overstepped that boundary in some way, taking photographs of maybe a 13-year-old woman in those days, you know, topless. And I think that this man, the Tower, I think this was like the end of his relationship with this family. It's a hard reading to do because I love the books, but just because somebody has written a wonderful book doesn't make them a good person. I don't believe in cancel culture. It's a wonderful piece of literature, and it shouldn't, you know, we can judge the man. We certainly can judge him, but, you know, his work is outstanding. But I'm just very doubtful that the man himself was a very nice man. I think he had ulterior motives. Let me just have another card, please, regarding, let's look at Lewis Carroll as far as adult women were concerned. Tell me about adult women. What did he feel about that? The Hermit. And with, you know, he was not, he was just a very solitary figure. He was, as I say, he was cloistered in this whole mathematics area of life. He was the writer, he was the photographer. He was very much into himself, very much in his own head, in his own mind, in his own fantasy world. And I think that he could relate to children, and he had sexual feelings for them, let's put it like that. But not so with real women. I think a mature woman who was of his age, that would not, his emotions would not go there. Everything was aimed at children, and it brought the Tower down on his relationship with the Liddell family. There's never been any court case about him. You know, there's never anything official to say that, you know, any of this happened. But, you know, the photographs exist. All the letters that he wrote over the years to children exist. You know, it is a very odd situation. And I think even if he never acted on whatever he felt it. And that is the impression that I'm getting from the cards. Even if he never, you know, did overstep that line, even if he didn't break that boundary, he felt it. And he never felt anything for a grown woman. His feelings and emotions were all for children. And I think the writing of the books and the passion of writing the books, the passion of the photography, it was all because he had this inappropriate love for children. I would like to know what you think. It was a hard one for me to do because I adore the books. I don't know what you think, whether you think the cards are truthful in this scenario, in what they've picked up, whether you have a different opinion of this. But whatever you think and whatever you know, I would like to hear. And we'll leave it there. It's a disturbing read. And, you know, we will just leave it there for today. But thank you for watching. And I'll be back soon with a much lighter, brighter topic. Thank you. Bye-bye.